basically getting out of Dodge for
Yeah.
six months and a day. That is the thing.
Interesting.
But now that I'm here, Da Nang is it. If you're doing anything where you need to focus a bit and get some work done, you're not just into partying 24/7. You like the beach, but you also like to have places to get away, and you like relatively cheap places. I have yet to find a better balance of everything than this city right here.
Hey Mike,
Hey,
I'm Evan.
Evan.
Nice to finally meet you. Let's just dig right into it.
I mean, compared to, say, Bangkok, I mean, the digital nomad community that I've seen is very narrowly focused, mostly around the Mian area.
Yeah.
And for good reason, because that's where all the infrastructure you need to do that kind of thing is.
Yeah, and the Western amenities, yeah.
Yeah. Great food, great breakfast.
Great food and very affordable. Clearly, it's been a while since you lived at home.
Yeah.
So maybe cost of living wasn't as much of a factor for coming here, but what is your sort of typical day in the life cost you in Da Nang? What are you spending, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Then
I actually write that stuff down. I have a budget app. I write everything down. Because I knew we were meeting, I actually added up 31 days of general expenses. Okay, so I broke it down last night.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And I did it without any, like my ChatGPT thing, that's out, for example.
Yeah.
I didn't include anything that is not like just day-to-day living.
Right, so like no like digital subscriptions,
Nothing
business
like that.
operations, just
Nothing
your
like that.
your basic like bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, the food, the clothes, the house, the roof over your head.
And my I go to co-working most days. That's 210,000. I included my electricity, which is 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And my rent is separate. My rent is $530 for a two-bedroom place.
It's about 13 million?
14.
14 million.
Yeah,
okay,
on the money. And my total after 31 days was $842 of day-to-day, like that's including drinks out, it's including everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
So you're all in your 500 and change rent, 800 and change for everything, total cost of living. Tack on $50 on either side, so under $1,400 basically.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess if you have my scooter, which is now 1.5 million and
$60,
whatever, yeah. So yeah, say about 1,400.
Easily under 1,500 with room.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to I'm not, unlike a lot of the particularly younger entrepreneurs here that I've met. They're really, laser focused on starting some small business, so they're more cost aware than I am. I'm older and I have a job, doing software development. So I don't think too much about how much things cost. And even with that, my cost of living here is half of what it is in Thailand. Like half.
I was interviewing another creator, a guy named Josh on the Move recently, and we actually we were like debating in a fun way, in a friendly way, debating it, because he's in Phuket and obviously I'm here, and we were going back and forth on our costs, what we're paying. Yeah. And Josh actually has a fantastic cost of living video from when he was in Da Nang. I think it's got like 500,000 views or something now. Numio cost of living calculator said Phuket is 72% more expensive than here. That's crowdsourced information. That is not me, it's not Josh. That was our third party. And I don't know. Yeah,
that's probably the same kind of thing where you get these crowdsourced things that say like New Jersey is the most livable city in the world or something like that, right? So I would take that with a grain of salt, because of all the places you could be getting expensive in Thailand, Phuket is number one.
But do you think would be more or less than, you think it's more than double here, or 70% is like it's not you think it's low or high?
Oh, it's low.
It's low.
Oh, it's way low.
Right, but Josh was thinking it was high. And I was like, no. And people in the comments think it's high. And I'm like, no, it's really not.
Yeah, if you've spent any time in Phuket, which I have, I live down in Jomtien Beach. That's where my condo is. And that is if you're eating Western food, it's the cheapest place to eat Western food, because it just is, but it's more expensive to eat Thai food. And I eat at home. I eat a lot of fruit and stuff like that. I'm not out anywhere near as much as I'm here. I eat out every day here.
Every day. Right?
And 100%. Still, just the cost of stuff, it adds up so fast in Thailand now. And Phuket is double whatever it is in the rest of Thailand.
Yeah, I love Bangkok. I've been going there way longer than I've been coming to Vietnam. I went to Bangkok first time 2011 when I was living in Australia.
2001 for me.
Yeah, so whatever, 15 years, 25 years. I love the city. It's one of my favorite places in the world.
Phenomenal place.
The vibe of it, the feel, it's
so much energy.
Always feels like, yes, I'm in Southeast Asia. This is it. This is what I dreamed of. It has that like, you know, Paris, France kind of romance.
Yeah, right.
For me, at least, it really does.
Yeah, it's like
but
the
I
riverside at night and stuff.
Yeah, all of it. The lights, the people, the food, the smells, everything.
Yeah.
But I think it's undeniable. It's twice as expensive as Saigon, and I think Hanoi is even cheaper than Saigon, and Da Nang is way cheaper than either.
Okay, that's a good question because, like, I'm sure people watching, you know, your video, they don't have a feeling for that.
Yeah.
Neither do I. I'd been to Saigon, but in 2004, and I've been to Hanoi like 7 years ago. I have no idea. So you're saying Da Nang is seriously cheaper?
Oh yeah, that was when my wife and I moved from Saigon to Da Nang. And we lived in an expensive part of Saigon in a wealthy suburb, but we were like, sure, we're going to work remote. We're going to do things for ourselves. Let's move to Da Nang because it's 40% cheaper, 50% cheaper, and 100% it is. It's like just instantly.
Yeah.
Everything went down. Our rent went down. Our food costs went down. You know, the only thing that sort of stayed relatively the same is childcare. Especially English language childcare is very expensive everywhere, I think, in the world. Other than that, everything went down. The food, I guess the transportation's the same too. Mm-hmm. You know, I own a motorbike and it costs like $20, I think, to put it on the train to get it up here. And then gas is nothing. Gas is nothing. Yeah. When did you said the first time you went to Bangkok was 2001. Mm-hmm. You are or were settled in Jomtien. So when did you actually start living in Thailand long term? What's your background with Thailand?
As with many stories, back in about 2000, when the internet was finally arrived in Japan, there was a website called udate.com, and I met a Thai girl at that time because I was still pretty young then. So I was, you know, not the old guy that I am now, and she worked for a Swedish telecommunications firm, so she was all over Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Right, and she said, well, I can just zip over to Japan. And that led a year of this kind of relationship with a lot of jealousy and all kinds of stuff in there, but that's for another video.
Yeah.
But my very first trip to Bangkok, because I went after she came out to Tokyo, I went to Bangkok and spent a few weeks. And I had this idea, because I had no idea of Southeast Asia. Even though I'd been living in Japan then like a decade, I had no idea. So I thought everyone had like the Vietnamese hats they have here, and there's like you see in the old Kung Fu movies, you know, Mortal Kombat with, you know, smoke coming off of like, you know, food stands and stuff. And she picked me up in her Audi, right, because she was wealthy.
She's wealthy,
she's a rich one. Drove me over these highways, these raised highways to the city that were way more modern and well developed than even the Shutoko in Tokyo. There's that kind of loop road that goes all over Tokyo. It's called the Shutoko.
Yeah.
And it was better than that. We go to her place, which is downtown, 30th floor.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down and I'm seeing like jungle stuff in the middle of Bangkok. I'm hearing tropical bird sounds. I'm thinking, how have I not come to this place before?
Yeah.
You know, I was just hooked on Bangkok, and I didn't see all that dodgy stuff, you know. I mean, because that was not, you know.
Your introduction was not through Khao San Road. It was through a wealthy upper middle class woman.
I just saw like normal Thai life, and you know, every time I went over there, we would go to Koh Samui, or we'd go up to Chiang Mai, we would go to Hua Hin, and we would see all these beautiful places. And I just loved the food.
Yeah.
So that got me hooked, and I knew someday I got to leave Japan. But I also had, a university job, you're only working 6 months of the year, right? But you're getting paid for 12. So it takes an awful lot of motivation to leave that. But I honestly didn't really like living in Japan my last 10 years. It was a lot of reasons. It just wears you down a bit. If to tell anecdotally, like when I'm in Japan, I used to write textbooks. Also, I've got 5 textbooks that are still a revenue stream. There you go, used in university still in Japan, and I wrote those with a publisher. So I used to work a lot of extra hours. I would go to the same Starbucks and the same late night restaurant called Saizeria, which is like this Italian restaurant, chain one. Everyone knew who I was. But do you think, especially at the restaurant, anyone would say, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" What they would do is they wouldn't look you in the eye. They'd say, "Gochimon dekimashita ra dozo," when you're ready or whatever, just order. And I would think, that's very cold. Like, how is it that this is a thing? And then when I was in Thailand, my first time, Patty, her name was, Patty and I were leaving a parking lot, and there was some poor guy directing traffic in a brown thing in the middle of the sun, not making a lot. And we're in now a BMW by this point. She had
leveled up.
She had bought another car, and I gave him, in Japan they call it eishaku. It's like a small bow.
Yeah.
And he just smiled and bowed back, and it was just this small thing of just like, okay, that's human interaction.
Yeah.
And I would go to Starbucks a year later, and they go, "Mike, how are you?" "Yeah, I got to move here." It doesn't matter how much money you have now; you don't have enough to make it till the finish line. You will have to find work, but you don't like living here, and you absolutely love living in Southeast Asia. So if it's not going to be this year, when is it going to be?
Yeah.
Right. So I thought, okay, put in my notice, moved over to Thailand, and then I got basically consulting work from a Canadian company, a construction company, built their app they needed. Nice. And I got on it I got hired on at a bank in Bangkok. I arrived in Thailand in 2015, and I was in Bangkok for the first few years. That's
so that led to buying in Jomtien. So I know tons of people are always curious about the rent versus buy, the long-term thing. What led to you actually looking for a condo? How was the process?
So when I was working on the bank job, it was COVID. I got the job like a month before COVID hit Thailand. So that was like perfect timing. I was one of those lucky people. I had a job. I was living right downtown, had this nice big apartment down in Soy 13. And after about a year and a half of that, we were all starting to think, like, is this thing going to end?
Yeah.
And as you get older, you don't want to, be eating dog food for the rest of your life. So you think a little bit about, I don't want to be worried about rent for my whole life. So I found a little 1-bedroom place out in Udomsup, which is about 7 stops away from downtown. Perfect mix area. It's got mostly Thais, like market. It's got proper Thai markets and everything. But it's also got a Canadian guy runs a bar there.
There you go.
Called Z. I can't remember what it's called now. But anyway.
You give me the connection. I'll try and go interview him sometime.
There you go. Yeah.
Whenever you're back there, I'll come visit you and interview him.
Yeah, he's from Alberta.
Nice.
I rent that place out now, but to a couple Filipinos. But yeah, so I found a place in a condo that I'd rented like 5 years prior that I really liked. And I just went into the agent who I knew and bought one. And it was 1.5 million baht, which is about, at that time, I guess, 45,000 US.
45, 50.
Yep. Rent, I charge on a 2-year contract 9,000. So that's about 270 bucks, I guess.
Yeah, 270, a little under 300, give or take.
Yeah. Which is cheaper than what people are charging there, but it's just, better to have people in your condo than not. But
so did you find it a sticky situation? Was it easy to do for you as a...
The only downside is when you buy in Thailand, you have to show proof that you brought the money from abroad. So I literally send some money that I had in my account here over back to Japan, and then just...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the same day. Just you're either burning down your savings, or you're working enough to maintain even keel.
And if you're burning down your savings, you shouldn't. In my opinion, you shouldn't come, because then it's just a clock.
Agree.
It's just a clock running out.
Totally agree.
Right? It's just a clock counting down to zero, and it's going to affect all your decisions. And
after that, I just basically I wanted to transition to another job, so I started working for an American company. And I thought, why am I living in Bangkok? Even though I love Bangkok, I also don't like living there because the air is bad, and I'm not the rooftop restaurant kind of guy
anymore.
So those days are gone for me. So I bought another one down in Jomtien, and that was 2.6 million, 60 square meters. But it's nice. It's a corner unit, all windows everywhere. But I'm right across from a bar complex, and they opened a heavy metal live bar like 2 months after I moved in.
Oh God.
So I get that until the wee hours. Yeah, it's not good. What are you gonna do?
And so, but Jomtien is still your home, your permanent base
That is my
right
base.
now. So what brought you to Da Nang? Why leave Thailand for Vietnam? Is it a temporary thing, a scouting trip for you? Yeah, what are you doing here?
A bit of both. It's scouting because I'm always looking for that place where I could use as an alternative. Because I get a bit bored of living in the same place all the time. I typically do 2 or 3 months a year away anyway, no matter what. But Thailand last year started introducing some new potential laws. One was that all money you bring into the country, they're going to start asking tax on.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of people like in comment sections in the you know,
Trolls. There's a lot of trolls.
yeah, a lot of trolls. Well, if you could, you know, you should pay your part and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but taxes are meant to give you something back. Like that's the whole point.
Services.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get none of that in Thailand as a foreigner. But it got worse. Then they were saying, well, we're going to start looking at your whole world income, and we're going to do what America does, which is if you are a resident of Thailand, you're going to be paying whatever, in my case, be like 25% probably of everything I make to the Thai government. And if you are a resident, which is defined by 6 months or more. And all my friends said, my Canadian buddy, who I trust for everything, he knows his stuff. And he's like, don't worry about it, it won't happen. But it's like, yeah, but if it does, I don't want to deal with that.
That's right.
And I love to travel. So this is my next 3 months. I've already done 2 in the Philippines. I'll be in Japan in August for a couple weeks, and then I'll be over to Europe for a month to visit the team. Basically getting out of Dodge for 6 months and a day. That is the thing.
Interesting.
But now that I'm here, I will say to anyone listening to this video that Da Nang is, if you're doing anything where you need to focus a bit and get some work done, you're not just into partying 24/7. You like the beach, but you also like to have places to get away, and you like relatively cheap places. I have yet to find a better balance of everything than this city right here.
What's your experience been with healthcare and medical?
That was another thing when I moved over to Thailand. Even when I was visiting, I would do my health checks in Thailand. Just the quality of healthcare in Thailand is off the charts. In terms of paying for it, I normally pay just, you know,
Out of pocket. Yeah.
But I do have insurance. As you get older, if you're an older person thinking of moving over to Southeast Asia, it's good to know that the younger you get into insurance, the better. You can get kind of a deal and then, you know, pit insurance people off each other, which is what I do. When they go to raise my rate, I go to Cigna and I try and get them to sweeten the pot, and then I go back to these guys and say, well, I'm going to get this, and they go, okay, hold on, you know, I'll talk to my boss. So I've managed to keep my things fairly low. I'm paying right now at 60. I turned 60 in March. Jeez. And I'm paying about 70,000 something, so $2,100 US, give or take, a year, and that is my emergency thing. That is that is only for 2 things, which is if my heart has a problem or I have cancer. That is the reason I keep that insurance, because that will bankrupt you. With people saying, one guy wrote on my channel, like, why are you comparing with the West? Like, you're living in Vietnam now, you're living in Asia, it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, yeah, but that's how people think. And especially, I'm the same as you, like everyone who watches my stuff on the YouTube channel, they're all abroad. And for them to make sense of it, they need to think, well, this is how much I pay for rent here. Of course. That's how much I'm going to pay for there. And that's how they can figure out a strategy, which is, again, what your videos always are aimed at, it seems. I got a question about that, actually.
Sure. It's how to plan, yeah. It's how to figure out how to plan, to compare, and that's it, right?
I watched a lot of your videos coming here. Sure. And to be honest, it's not like a paid promo or nothing. To be honest, one of the reasons why Da Nang really was like, okay, I'll go, is because I saw enough of your videos to go, yeah, that's the right place for me. I didn't take any course that you have, though. But you have courses, right? Mm-hmm.
So if they're optional, man. The free content's all free, right?
Yeah. But that's to help people, I guess, who are like abroad, figuring out a plan is...
Yeah, look, it's for the most recent one. So I have a membership where it's like everything I've ever made. The guides, all the detailed stuff. It's how to live in Southeast Asia. It's everything, man. It's like the addresses and phone numbers of every hospital in Southeast Asia.
Wow.
It is like you download it, you have it on your phone. It's all the information you need.
Wow.
It's basically like I pay someone to put those together. The guides.
Yeah.
I fact check them and everything, but like
Yeah.
I have a research assistant, a VA, who does it for
Yeah.
me, and it's all the information you'd want, and it's in one place. And that's what I think of what I'm doing. I'm curating it, right? Putting it all
Yeah.
together in an easy to access place, and someone can pay me either a monthly membership or an annual membership, get access to all that stuff. And then more recently,
Wow.
I made a 60-minute Move to Vietnam course, which is linked to my channel description. And this, is a promo. Go ahead and
Yeah.
buy it. You can watch
Yeah.
it right now. And what it basically is it's like an FAQ, right?
Yeah.
It's like the 6 to 8 modules, the 6 to 8 questions answered in 3 to 5 minutes in a direct, explicit way for someone who's coming here for the very first time,
Okay.
or considering coming for the very first time, and has no idea what to do when they get off the plane.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not for someone like you who's lived in Asia for 20 years, right? It's
Yeah.
for someone who goes, what the hell do I do with banks when I get there? Well, there it is, right there. I tell you
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
how you go and set up your first
Yeah.
account, your digital account. It's for someone coming, what the hell do I do with hospitals? Well, these are the 5 go-to hospitals. This is where you go in Da Nang. This is where you
Yeah.
go in Saigon. This is where you go. It's just that, right? It's all out there on the internet. You want to do it yourself?
Yeah,
go
but-
for it. You want it done for you? I've done it for you, right? It's just that simple. Like it's not.
It is, but I think it's more than that. Now that you've told me what it is that when you go on the internet these days, because anyone who's using Google now knows that you're getting results from people who want to sell you something, rather than someone who just says, I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
I'm just, the stuff you're giving is not a paid thing, right? You're doing it to the best of your knowledge. These are 5 hospitals, for example, or 5 whatever.
Yeah.
And actually, even though I've lived in this region all my life, literally like all my adult life, when I first came here, I have no idea what to do about banks. I was having a lunch with a Vietnamese American guy I'd met at the Hive. We just went and had some lunch at the co-working space. And he's got a bank account. I said, well, can I get one? He's like, yeah, I'm not sure how it would work for you. And
That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
That is the exact answer that is
and
provided.
I could use that kind of information because I
That's all it
don't
is.
want to be having people who think they know. Right?
And I think the Move to Vietnam one, I swear to God, if you just do the thing about the banks, you'll save $50. It pays for itself, right? And
Yeah.
for me, obviously, I make it once and then it's there forever, so I can charge whatever I want for it, right?
Yeah.
I can charge a low price for it.
Yeah.
And it's or like there's a couple there's how to find a house there, right? And it has like websites and things
Yeah.
that you wouldn't
Yeah.
know about unless someone told you. And it's
Yeah.
just that. It's the frequently asked questions
Yeah.
that I'm sorry, I love you guys. When you ask a question, there is no time to answer 20,000 people's questions
right?
individually.
Well, I mean, TikTok, if I get like a 500,000 views on one of them, I've got 30,000 comments.
Yeah.
And as they roll in, I'm kind of
try.
scrolling through.
I
and
try.
but I don't answer any.
60 now, you're probably entering the last quarter, 30% of your life.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood, I hope so. I hope you got another 20, 30, 40 years in you,
Yeah.
however many you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Still waiting for that big scientific breakthrough. Yeah.
What's the future in those years for you? Is it Thailand? Is it Vietnam? Is it Southeast Asia? Do you think you'll
it's
ever
going
go
to
back?
have to be Southeast Asia?
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because, in terms of cost of living, yeah, you could move to say Eastern Europe or places like that. But even though I'm Canadian, I'm a giant, starts with a P and rhymes with wussy, about cold. I don't like cold weather, and so and even Japan, because they don't use insulation in most of Japan. So your house,
Hanoi is cold. Hanoi gets cold.
yeah, when I was
Don't
up there,
sleep on
yeah,
it.
it was
It
chilly.
gets cold.
Yeah, you walk home in Tokyo and it's -3. It's going to be -1 in your house when you get home,
Yeah.
and they only heat one room. No, that's not for me. But also, when I moved to Japan and I started making more money than I had made before, I was working at a university. The smart thing to do would have been to go back to Vancouver Island and buy a house or something,
Sure.
or put a down payment. But instead, I bought Armani suits and Salvatore Ferragamo shoes and water skis and all kinds of crap that I didn't even ever use. I bought a dry suit. I was constantly buying stuff that I didn't need because I was stupid and young. I was 23 or something, and now I literally could not, even with making America, I could move back now.
Yeah.
If I kept this job until I basically crossed the finish line. But no, that's not what I want to be doing. So my plan is to set up shop in 1 or 2 places and bounce around a bit. Like this, Da Nang is definitely my future. That I can tell you. Philippines would be, but it's gotten prohibitively expensive and annoying trying to find places to live there. Philippines, getting a condo is just, it's annoying to the max now. It's all agents and Airbnb and middle people, stuff like that. So it's either going to be here, maybe Laos for a bit, but I still haven't really checked Laos out as long term. Thailand 100% for sure.
Yeah.
That's where I'm heading.
I love Thailand too. I think for me, the other place in the mix is Malaysia. I really,
yeah.
I love Kuala Lumpur. I love Penang. The conservative religious aspects about it, for me, can even be a positive. I have kids.
Yeah.
I don't mind at all my kids growing up somewhere with regulation, with rules, societies.
It's a $25 beers there that got to me though.
Yeah, they're $6. I can afford $6 beers. Hey, another pointer. If you can't afford a $6 beer, get a second job, man.
Yeah.
I know you can find 50-cent beers here, but that ain't. If you gotta need more than 50-cent beers to bring you to Southeast Asia.
Well, when you're talking about the difference in what people are looking for in content in terms of younger digital nomads and whatever. And when I was in Europe, between my second and third year, I went. So I was in England, but I went to Europe for about 2 months of that, and I hitchhiked around. Used trains a bit, but I mostly was hitchhiking because I had no money. And I literally slept on a beach in Nice because some American guy stole my money. We were up on the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and he said, "Hey, I'll watch your guys' stuff," because he had no money. He was desperate. You know,
a subscriber of mine, someone tried to steal his wallet in Dirty Fingers last weekend, and it was 2 white guys, a team, 2 white guys working together. So
man,
it is anywhere there's tourists in the world, there's thieves.
Yeah, like. Even back in Europe, it wasn't locals you worried about. It was other travelers because people get.
I had my passport stolen once in Poland, and it was stolen by, I'm 99% sure by the Spanish guy who was in the room with me. Just logistically, there wouldn't have been anyone else.
Yeah. No. No, but I mean, in terms of content, I was living in Europe in a way that I would never live now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people are looking at how much it costs, for example, to live in Da Nang for, a month. There are people who will legitimately say, like they do in Chiang Mai, I can live in Chiang Mai for $300 a month, and you can.
You can if you really want.
Yeah, and when you're kind of younger and you just want to be traveling, that's exactly where my mind was at as well. But there's traveling and there's living, right?
When I first got to Saigon, I had my housing paid for and healthcare paid for. I would live on $400 a month, but not because I had $400 a month, because I was saving money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a different habit. We're not talking. If you only have $300 a month, do not come here. If you have $2,000 a month, but you figure out a way to enjoy your life on $300, power to you.
Exactly.
That's a different situation, right?
That's fantastic advice.
That's right. Like, and there's a good clarification there. Totally. Live on $300, live on $500.
Yes.
If everything you need in your life is at the beach and the cafe and a cheap apartment, you can easily do that. But it doesn't mean it's a good idea to come here. If that's all you have, it's a bad idea to come over here for lots of the other reasons we've talked about, right?
Words to live by, right there. That is excellent advice.
What's the question I didn't ask? What should I have asked you? What did you want to say that we didn't get to?
When are we going to meet for beers next? Kidding.
11:59 a.m.
All right.
Man, thank you so much for coming on.
Kevin,
appreciate it.
Fantastic talking to you, man.
My most recent video is here, the best video is here, and Mike's channel, the Coding Travel Bug,
Nice.
is right here.
Nice.